Are you pulled over safely?
Yes, yes. Sorry
Okay,
about that.
that's okay.
You're all good.
That's okay. Dave, first of all, you did a terrific job. Tell everybody what your day job is. So
Oh yeah,
give it a
I cover
plug with Terrapin Times.
right. I cover University of Maryland for Terrapin Times, football recruiting, basketball recruiting, and then the football and basketball team as well. So that's sort of I'm in College Park a whole lot. So
How's that?
um,
How's the
yeah.
basketball team looking?
Basketball team's looking a lot better than football. I'll tell you that. Not going to make any predictions this year just because of what happened last year, but
Yep.
brought in a lot of key transfers, and teams looking pretty solid right now. So
Okay, let me throw
um,
you one more
yeah.
curveball. Is is uh is Coach Loxley safe, or is he
Uh,
facing an awful lot of scrutiny and the hot seat this year?
Yeah, we hope he's not safe. Jeez, I
Yeah,
mean, if they had enough money, he would have been gone a couple of years ago.
yeah.
But yeah, if they don't turn it around or have a major, not just 6-6 in a bowl game, but if they don't have a really surprising season, I mean, he would have been out last year, but they didn't have the money for the buyout.
Okay.
So yeah, it's unless they can pull off a miracle here, it doesn't look that great unless they run out of money again and can't buy out the last year of his contract.
All right.
So that's sort of how it's looking there.
All right. Let's deal with something a little more pleasant that doesn't depend upon wins and losses because
Yeah.
Kevin Brown, the subject of your cover story for us, Magic in the Booth, he doesn't depend on wins and losses. He sort of wins most nights, doesn't he?
Yeah. He does a great job. He's a joy to listen to for anybody that can sit through the games these days. But yeah, he pulls out a lot of great vocabulary. He has a great rapport with Ben McDonald and Jim Palmer as co-hosts. And it was a really interesting guy to talk to. Very funny. Incredibly intelligent, and does a great job at his craft. Works very hard at it too. And I really enjoy talking to him, and I think that it came out pretty well in the piece, like what kind of a person he is, and just the amount of time he puts into the craft, and just how his delivery and his style as
Yeah,
well.
I thought you did a terrific job starting with the story about last year's game on September 6th. I thought it was just really nicely put together. What did you find out about Kevin that you may not have known?
Um, but I didn't know a whole lot about his background until I talked to him, like how he came up through the Syracuse journalism school, and sort of I really didn't know. He just sort of popped up on our radars one day. He was just in the booth calling games. I just remember, so I really didn't know much where he came from. So just getting into the whole background of that whole thing, with him talking about Syracuse and working in the minor leagues with Joe Benetti, who's now the play-by-play man for the Detroit Tigers. That was just really interesting just to hear that, and his stories about growing up through the broadcasting industry was the main things that I didn't really know.
Okay.
What kind of stuck out most about Kevin, and maybe like somewhat about his process? Because I mean, it is a great kind of a great subject for a cover story, because everyone has kind of gotten more Orioles fever over the last few years. Obviously, especially in 2023 and 2024 when the team was really good, and feels like we've gotten to know Kevin really well just because we spend almost every night with him over the summer. Spending time with him. But like, what is it about his process that you think makes him such an effective play-by-play announcer?
Well, with like a lot of these major broadcasters, I think they all sort of put in the work. You have to, or you're going to come off looking like a fool. If you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, these guys get fed stats and things like that, obviously, but he puts in a lot of work, in terms of not just studying the team and the opposing team and things like that, but just maybe his studying like language, and his ability to command words. He puts a lot of time into that, just describing how just the amount he reads and just pays attention to other broadcasters and sort of picks up things that way, and then can incorporate it into his own sort of style. that sort of stands out in a way. But they all put in the work. I mean, they're anybody that's doing this at the major league level is going to be researching. So, and he definitely does that. I mean, he's there every day on the field talking to guys, trying to get insight that he can sort of put on the broadcast that maybe isn't well known, maybe just by talking to one of the coaches or something like that on the side, and he'll sort of finagle that into a broadcast. And a lot of guys do that, and he's no different in that respect.
I thought the quote you got out of Palmer, the long quote,
Yeah.
where he says it's like going on a 300-mile like kind of cross country trip with him, that he's so prepared for any eventuality. I thought that was a great quote.
Yeah, it was funny talking to Jim. This didn't go in there, but Jim didn't want me to blow him up too much. He's like, don't blow his ego up too much. So he went on for about a half an hour, but then told me I couldn't use any of the quotes because because it would make him look too good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great storyteller. I know that's sort of a cliche term to call announcers storytellers, but Kevin really does a good job of sort of bringing the average fan in and cueing them into the game, so it's not too analytical, but also keeping them entertained with his humor and his sense of style, and very conversational style. And I think that's what Jim was trying to get across there.
With an ego the size that Kevin has, and while he while he tamps it down, in other words, he doesn't overdo it, but he's got a big ego. You touched on that story about what happened when he was sort of critical of the team versus Tampa a few years ago. I thought it was important that you touched on that. But with somebody who's as good as he is, does it surprise you that there was no lingering resentment to the club sort of suspending him for those 3 weeks there?
Um, maybe a little bit. I mean, if I was in that situation, I might have a look, and maybe there is something like that if there's a underlying that he doesn't let out.
Yeah.
I know if I was in that situation, I might be a little ticked off just knowing how, I mean, he really didn't do anything wrong at all.
Right.
And that whole story, and I know it's come out what sort of happened there, and we won't get into all that, but me personally, I probably would. But if he does, he's covered it up pretty well.
And from the
Yeah.
club's perspective, you spoke to Mark Fine, who's the chief marketing officer. I think the club and he have a really good working relationship right now.
Yeah. They love the guy. They like to use him in a variety of ways. They've used him for on-field ceremonies. They've used him for PR events off the field that the Orioles do and things like that. So he's sort of been a jack of all trades for them, and has been really effective. And he's really engaging just with fans and just the way his style and things. And I think that the team really appreciates that.
Dave, you were talking about obviously his rise from the minors and obviously now with the Orioles. And one thing I'm getting nervous about is as he gets more and more national exposure. Do you think we need to be worried about Kevin taking more of a major role at a big time like Fox or something? And he obviously does the College World Series, the Women's Softball World Series. Should we be worried about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you never know. I mean, that can obviously happen. I mean, well, John Miller had a falling out and things like that, but that happened with that there back in the day. You never say never with that kind of thing. I mean, broadcast industry, media industry in general, people move around like crazy all the time. So I know that he enjoys it here. He likes it here, and says he wants to stay here, but you never know if somebody's going to throw a ton of money at him. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so,
and those networks don't have games every night, so he could do 4 nights a week for Baltimore for many years to come. Even if he did something on Fox or something.
Right.
Yeah. We're talking with Dave Lomonico, who's penned the story Magic in the Booth, the cover story about Kevin Brown, the Orioles play-by-play voice on MASN, and he's been with the club for 7 years. Before we let you go, Dave, wanted to touch on one thing. I get a lot of criticism of Kevin by older people, and I'm 74. I'm talking about people that are even a little older than me, over the stat thing. You know, the
Oh, yeah.
usage, the usage of so many stats and modern baseball terminology. They sort of long for Chuck Thompson or something like that.
Yeah. That's
You dealt with that in the story, and he's cognizant of the fact that he tries not to overdo it.
Yeah, I think that's a little get off my lawn type of deal there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree
um,
with you.
yeah, he really does it. I mean, there's other guys. I've listened to other announcers that do way more. I mean, he doesn't sit there and talk about F war and spin rate all day long and things like that. He'll mention it from time to time, but compared to other announcers and the people that have complained and gotten criticism probably haven't listened to some of the other guys that really delve into it. He does a pretty good job. Um, all things considered of of using the Chuck Thompson style and weaving it in with the stats. I mean, it's not, you know, you can't please everybody. You got to give some stats. You got to. I mean, it's not all. You can't just sit there and just talk about batting average all day. I mean, the modern fan wants to hear about OPS and a little more of that. So you got to throw that in there. Not all the time, but you got to give a little bit of that, or you're going to be behind the times here. So
He's 36 years old, Dave.
yeah.
Have we heard the best of Kevin Brown yet, or is he
No,
still?
no, he's
Yeah,
still developed. He even said that himself. I'm not sure. Not all the quotes made it in, but when I talked to him for a solid hour or more, and he was even saying how he's still developing. He still goes back over his old tapes and thinks about calls that he messed up on and things like that, and things that he could do better. And yeah, that's always going to come with more and more experience, and even experienced announcers are always going to slip up. You're live on the air, for God's
yeah.
sake. So, I mean, things happen.
I've never
So,
done that, Dave. I've never done that. Hey, thank you for
yeah,
doing the story. Thank you for coming on to talk about it, and we'll look forward to working with you in the future. Okay.
sure. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. Dave Lomonico. Get a chance to read it, or go to PressBoxOnline.com and read it. Magic in the Booth. All right, we're going to take a timeout.